Hey everybody, so today we're going to be doing a green dragon pattern. It comes from the inspiration of the Rising Phoenix, which is done by Kurt Wallace, I believe his name is. And so I just wanted to kind of recreate that whole concept, but using a different color. In Kurt's video, he didn't really show like how to do the fold. And so a lot of it was kind of guesswork on my part, but, you know, obviously I figured it out. And so I just wanted to kind of do a video that's kind of similar, but not like reproducing his original content. But anyway, that's just another idea for another day. This shirt has been spun out after being soaked in soda ash. And now we're going to put the sleeves into one another, get everything all lined up, then we'll draw on the t-shirt and tie it up. So just kind of pull one sleeve through the other, and then we'll ensure that all the seams are even. It's kind of difficult to get it all on camera, but I'm sure you folks get the idea. Man. Okay, so you want your surface area as flat as possible. And then basically we're just going to draw some wings and a bit of a figure here and maybe a head and some flames. And then we're gonna tie it all up and then dye it. So you could get real creative on this. And this is just my concept. I'm gonna do 2 to 3 finger lengths down. We're gonna start with a small head, and that'll probably be good. Maybe a little longer. And then we're gonna do the wings. And you can be as fancy and as big or as small as you'd like. But basically, the idea is you want a big wing, and then a body. And not that you have to have a different color or anything, but I find it's easier to have a different color pen to do the flames, and that's simply just to kind of determine where the dye goes. So, fire, dragon, bird, whatever you want to call it. So the next step in the process is where it gets a little difficult, and you'll need some plastic stripping. I basically got a one of those little separators in between a binder and just cut it to heck. So I've got a bunch of them. But anyway, basically you want to find the right size for the shirt you're working with. And that's probably about the right size there because it fits the wing. And that's kind of what you're looking for, is it to fit the wing. And so, I'm going to turn the garment, because I'm going to be working with this side first primarily. And first of all, we're going to pinch this, and I place a finger under the garment, just kind of pull it up and pinch. just escalating the fabric so that when we fold it, we'll get a particular design. Now you could maybe skip this step. I'm not sure. I haven't tried to skip it and see if it still works. But that's just me. So the idea is you got all these little binder clips. You can use bigger or smaller. I've got the smaller ones today. But anyway, you take a clip and you clip the plastic binder separator thing to the fabric. And so that'll hold that fold until you get your rubber bands in place. And you can even leave this there because when you're dyeing, it'll act as like a dam for the dye because you'll be placing black or a darker color on this outer section while you'll be doing color on this intersection. So you want kind of something to keep the black out and the color in. I suppose you could probably just use a thickened dye or something, but that's not what we're going to do today. So I'm just carefully placing the little clips, ensuring that they're attached to the fabric and the little clip. It's kind of a hassle, but you'll get the hang of it once you keep going. And this corner right here is where we really want to ensure that the black dye doesn't get in. So just gonna kind of fold that up a little more, ensuring that no dye will get down there. And also it's important to lay your color first, then maybe let it sit for a couple minutes and then do your darker colors. That way it'll give the dye some time to bond chemically with the shirt. So now we'll kind of do the accordion fold, and that's what gives you the really cool effect in between the wings of the kind of wing effect, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, we're gonna adjust the fabric a little so that everybody can see. And then basically we're just gonna do an accordion fold down this way. You can do as big or as small folds as you like. I'll tell you, the smaller and more that you have, the funner it looks. But I also don't want to make you go a certain way if you're more comfortable with another way. So just kind of go at your comfortability level, and you can kind of see how the plastic dam thing is starting to bind up, and that's okay. But ultimately, we're just working our way down here, getting a accordion fold going. Okay, so it's kind of a messy accordion fold, but it's okay enough. And we're gonna get an elastic around here on that first little line. So we're gonna double band that just so it's secure right there. Then I'm just gonna kind of do a bit of a scrunch fold around the edge here. Get some elastics on there just to ensure that it's not going anywhere. So that main little part here is your dragon. You can see kind of how the wings are folded and the face, and then we're gonna kind of just do a small couple little accordions in on the body area just so that there's some definition. Then we'll get another rubber band around it. But you can also go in and take some hemostats after you're all tied up and just kind of poke around and get some fun definition. So that's always nice. So now we're going to do the fire. And this part's kind of fun. You can do some different things. You can kind of scrunch it and move your hands with it with the scrunch, and that might create some fun, little flames. Or you can just accordion fold it straight up. So there's some possibilities here. I typically like to kind of do a little bit of a kind of a wonky diagonal, I guess. Just going in each direction a little bit. And it just kind of creates an interesting fold, but a fun design ultimately for the fire. So that's kind of how I do it. You don't have to go by my guidelines, but I'm just showing you how I do it. Alright, so there it is. Typically, when you dye, you'll do like yellow, orange, red, and then for the dragon, I'm going to do green this time, but a lot of times you'll do like a red dragon or whatever, or rising phoenix, whatever you want to call it. But basically, you're going to do dye throughout here and lay your light dye first, and then you'll do the dark areas later. And the dark areas are, anywhere outside of the colored lines. So we'll get that to the dye station, and I'll make sure to record it just so that we have it for future reference. Okay, so here we are at the dye station. Got my dyes pulled out, and we're gonna start. But before we start, I'm doing a green dragon. You can technically do any color dragon. You could do blue, you could do red, you could do orange and yellow, you could do red, orange, yellow. You could do, I was honestly thinking about doing this, I think I'd mentioned it, but doing a white bird or white, kind of whatever, and then doing the outside of the bird and the flames blue. You could also just leave the flames off if you just want to do a bird. So there's a lot of things that you could do with this design. It doesn't just have to be what I'm doing with it, but what I'm doing with it is pretty fun. So we're going to start with our lightest color first, which is yellow. And I'm honestly just going to kind of coat a lot of stuff. I might not do all of the dragon, but I'm going to start with the dragon. I'm going to do a little bit of flames, all with the yellow. And I also leave about an inch of this flame area white. It leaves kind of a cool effect if you just kind of just go like that. So with the flames, we're going to build up yellow, orange, red, and then this will be black. But I'm going to do a little bit of yellow on the bird, dragon, whatever you want to call it. Just a splash more. Okay. And I'm actually going to put kind of a lot on because I'm only dyeing the one side. and I'm doing liquid dye. The person who originally did this does hot water irrigation method with powdered dye, and it's a really beautiful process, and you end up with some cool things that you don't necessarily get with liquid dye, as far as like colors running together and like really cool fun effects, I guess. But I'm sure it'll be fun. It usually is. So next lightest color, we're gonna go with a light blue. And I didn't intend to do this, but when I was picking out my colors, it was calling to me. And I know that blue and yellow make green, so I just figured it'd be a lighter version of green in here. And I'm not going to do a lot, just because I am going to really saturate it with the dark green here in a minute. So that's good. I might let that sit for a minute and do the fire. And by let that sit for a minute, I mean let the dye soak in and saturate. And here's orange. We're gonna blend a little bit of the orange with the yellow, and then we're gonna go a line above with the orange. It'll almost look like one of those what is it? Little acorn candy corn treats. I think those things are disgusting, but some people enjoy them. So yeah. Anyway, shaking up my red here, and then we're going to again blend a little bit in the previous color and then go a little bit above. So going with red here, and go a little bit above. All right, so that should make some nice flames. So that's been sitting for a minute. We're gonna go in and hit this with some darker green. It's called Kelly green from Dharma. All my dyes are from Dharma. They're pretty good. I might try Grateful dyes, but I've been using Dharma basically the whole time. Just a heads up. So gonna kind of really make sure we saturate everything. Saturate it well, because again, I'm just doing a one-sided dye. And if you get a little bit of color in there like I just did, because I'm not being very slow and careful, that black part, that part will be covered with black eventually, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And it's hard to see on camera, but there's a little bit of pen that goes down here, and that's kind of the body of my dragon. And then up here, kind of in this little space where the rubber band is, that is going to be the face. So make sure that you get the body and the face of your dragon, or else it might be kind of a funny looking dragon. And again, with the wings, you kind of want to ensure that there's some real definition there. I kind of got it coming off to a point and going up to a point, and fold it all the way down, all that jazz. So I've got kind of an idea coming to me. I might do purple and black on this outside just because I like it. I like purple. And purple and green sometimes flow together, so just do little bits of purple here and there, and we'll make sure to cover those green splotches with some black. But Yeah, just doing a little bit of purple in here. Nothing too crazy, but it'll show up and be fun. So I'm gonna kind of give it a minute to soak in, and then we're going to cover this outer area, and be cautious of the face because you don't want to cover that up with black, but covering the outer area of the bird with all black, and be careful of the wing and body because there's no real dam there, and there will be there will be some saturation that might run in together, so just be cautious of that. And when you're coming up here, you also kind of want to be cautious that you don't cover too much of the red or mix the colors, because then you'll end up losing some of your flames. Okay, so we're going to go black. And so again, when you're laying your dye, just go slow and easy. And this is the face part that I'm talking about. You can kind of see. I'm going to be very cautious as I'm laying dye there and kind of create a little definition. So, some more black here. And again, we're going heavy on the dye because I'm doing one-sided. You don't have to do one-sided, but that's what we're doing for the video. So I'm going to kind of cut up in a sharp angle here, and then go to sharp angle down here. I'll try to get it on camera. Whoop, don't want my fabric to slide. But yeah, you can see kind of how I did that. Then we'll do the flames. Kind of quick-ish. And that should give a pretty good saturation level. So I'm going to try to go in here a little. Gosh, I'm always a little nervous about that, but just a tiny bit. There we go. I could see a little bit of color or white still in there, so just trying to be cautious. And a little more yellow. And a little more yellow. Lighten things up, make it fun. Alright. And there you have it. Sorry if I got out of the camera there for a little bit. But yeah, that's it. So this will be the green dragon. This will be your fire. And then we'll have a purple and black background. I'm pretty excited to see how it turns out. So we'll let that soak for probably a good 24 to 48 hours. Probably closer to 48 just because I'm busy the next few days. But I appreciate you watching, and we'll get it rinsed out. Okay, so this is the green dragon, all rinsed out and spun out and dried. The dragon did not turn out quite like I thought, and I think it's because I added that little bit of black in the middle there, and it looks like it kind of just would have came down to a point, which would have been ideal. And there's the head point. Again, just kind of be cautious about where you place your dye. It kind of reminds me of like the Batman symbol, but it honestly doesn't look quite like a dragon or like I was expecting, but I think it's pretty awesome. And I think that it gives everybody a good idea of how to fold and how to die, and just gives everybody a fun perspective. So thanks for watching.